Hi, well welcome back to my channel. So, we are now halfway through Dexter Original Sin. I'm pretty sure it's only 10 episodes, so here's a little summary of what I thought of season, episode 5. So the plot is, after that kill that went wrong for Dexter in the last episode, Harry actually grounds him, which is a bit odd to say. I'm sure he's like 21 in this, so you know, like, yeah. Deb deepens her relationship with the new guy and bonds with her brother on the anniversary of their mother's death. So this episode this episode was a little bit interesting because I'm not gonna lie, like in the original show they don't really talk about his mom very much at all. She's mentioned now and then, you're aware of her, but this kind of goes into a little bit more detail. It's meant to be quite soon after I think she died. I think she was meant to, it was like the year before. It's like the 1 year anniversary, I believe, in this episode. So it is interesting to see that kind of play out a bit more and see just how it's affected them and what it meant, how she like was involved in their lives and how impactful that would have been. Granted, I feel like they could have used her more like before this and leading up to like in the original show, but I'm glad they are acknowledging she existed now. Other bits I liked from this episode now. Special mention to Sarah Michelle Gellar, just a bit of a background character. But in this one, there's a bit of an episode about how she wanted to hit a witness or a lawyer in a courtroom, but she couldn't because Bailey's there, and she just goes, yeah, and professionalism. It felt very Buffy. I could see a little glimpse, and obviously with the news, I've done a video. It feels a little bit like I can see a glimpse of her falling back into that character a little bit, but anyway, I think it was a nice little addition. I liked it. She can still pull off the little quirky, strong woman-esque vibe to her, and I liked that little comment. It made me chuckle. But again, I'm a big fan of Buffy, so it was always going to. Deb and Dex hang out after eating pot brownies, and Dexter High is pretty funny. But there is one little odd thing to note. Again, I think I mentioned in the last episode, I've been rewatching the original show with my partner, and there is a scene in season 2 where Dokes mentions to Deb about Dexter being in recovery, and then Deb says he's not even had, he's never even smoked a joint, I think is what she says. So, but she knows he's done drugs here. Like, I know it's not like he's on it every week, but it's a bit of an odd comment, and it's stuff like that I slightly worry about with it overall. But other likes I liked about this episode were Dexter's little flip chart of M99, Deb by the grave. I actually thought that, like, I kind of hated on her storyline so far, being like it's a bit One Tree Hill, a bit unnecessary. But I genuinely quite appreciated that little scene of her talking to her mom. I think that was a nice little addition to the overall series. It adds that bit extra background to the cast of characters. Dexter proving he had learnt from his lesson to Harry and having Harry on the table. That was also a nice little, I enjoyed that little play out, but it is an odd one, again, watching the original show, because I feel like sometimes them scenes don't play well to the original show, and I can't quite put my finger on it. I just think the original show, it felt like, obviously Harry was like, I'm teaching you this, but I don't want to. It just is a way to keep you from survive in this world. Whereas in this one, it's kind of just like it feels a bit like it's just like, oh, okay. And it also, in the original show, once again, they gave the impression Harry obviously knew about it, but the details he kind of kept himself away from. Like, he trained him up with the code, let him go do his thing. And even when he got a glimpse of the details, it really had an effect on him. But having him in this strapped to a table with cling film kind of just, he's kind of seen most things then, like he knew what was going on. So yeah, it feels like it's loosening that a little bit. It's loosening like the law around it, I guess, and making it a bit inconsistent in motivations, I think. But I did like the scene of them on the table. It were quite, like, I did enjoy the dynamic of watching it. I just think it's hurting the original show potentially. Harry and Doris pregnant. So Doris is his wife, basically. It's Dexter's adopted mother. That was an interesting one, and I have seen a lot online of like theories to do with it, because he's really shocked, and it's like, I didn't think, like, it kind of give the impression of that they haven't had a chance to get pregnant. So there's a lot of like theories of maybe like in this flashback, is it going to show maybe more background for Deb? Is Deb really Harry's kid? Is that why he kept it like a bit of a distance? because he doesn't really do much with her. Like, I know she's like in the original show, like, oh, to be fair, she kind of states she has a lot of dad issues, I guess, and I feel like that might be because something stemming from this little nugget of information. Like, why are they showing that flashback if they're not showing it for a reason? So I feel like there might be some revelation coming at that point. And also, I'd like to have a little mention to Doris being the unsung hero of who tried to save Dexter. So it's come out again in this flashback that she also spotted, not like to the extent Harry did, but could tell something was a little bit off with Dexter, and she wanted him tested. And then also, if that was the case, I think going to therapy to help him. The word being help. So it's. I was just thinking about it then. Like, Dexter has lost his bio mom, then he's lost his adopted mom, and then he also lost Rita in the original show. And Rita was like, obviously she saw good in him, and at the end of this episode, he's at the grave talking to Doris, saying that he now understands that she saw good in him and was trying to help him. And I think it's just like, I think Harry is a little bit of a villain in that sense of why would any normal person think this is a logical route to go down. But I think it's something that I enjoy seeing. I do enjoy seeing a bit more like what involvement she had, and she weren't just like a plot device character in the background. She genuinely she cared for Dexter and she wanted to help him. So I think she's the unsung hero, and she needs more credit because she tried. She could have probably tried harder, but she did try. But yeah, I am intrigued. I'm gonna probably want to jump onto the next one because I'm gonna try and get these out rapid fire just because I'm a little bit behind. But yeah, I think overall, this one was a little bit more of a positive turn. There were more elements I enjoyed because I think I've been a bit negative on the first few episodes just because I'm struggling to see the point. I think as now we've hit the halfway point, I think it'll start heading into some sort of like, obviously, the conclusion and giving me that closure and probably going up in enjoyment. So I am intrigued. I am enjoying the revisit to an extent. And hopefully the only way is up from here. So, and if you have any extra little things to add, any other theories or what you thought of the series, this series, leave a comment down below. And yeah, like and subscribe, please. Thanks. Bye.